Hey, what's good guys? Today I've partnered up with Huawei and they've sent out an early sample of the Huawei P Smart for us to unbox. And this phone fills a very interesting void. If you're the kind of person who really loves Huawei and what their phones have to offer, but your budget doesn't quite stretch to the P10 or the Mate 10, then this is kind of exactly what you need. Over here in the UK, the P Smart retails for £229. And for that, the packaging is pretty well done. We've got this white woven mesh fabric, and you open the box for the first time, straight on top will be the phone. We'll take that out, we'll get back to that in just a minute. Let's see what else is inside. Alright, so as a bit of an unconventional twist, you'll actually find the SIM ejector tool located in the flap you first open. Underneath that, we've got a warranty card, and then a 50-page quick start guide. The phone charges with micro USB, which is pretty commonplace amongst slightly more budget-oriented phones like this. No USB Type-C here. And right on the bottom of the box, we've just got a pair of earphones. Alright, that's the unboxing. But what's the deal with the Huawei P Smart? Well, it's trying to fill a gap in the market. It's trying to offer a lot of the things that its more expensive brothers do, like the Huawei Mate 10 and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, but at a much more affordable price. So we're looking at Android 8.0 Oreo, squeezed into the latest emui 8.0 package. We've got dual cameras, support for 2 simultaneous Bluetooth device pairings, a fast fingerprint scanner, and more. The screen on this phone is definitely one of its strong points. With its unusual size of 5.65 inches, it strikes a pretty good balance for people who want a slightly larger display than the standard 5.5-inch phone, but they don't want to quite stretch to a 6-inch. It's an IPS panel with a Full HD Plus resolution that produces pretty bright and pretty true-to-life images. The resolution is the same as found on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, a phone that costs over 2 times as much as this, and also it's good to see that we've got an 18:9 aspect ratio here, which gives us a slightly more modern aesthetic. The one thing I would say about the display is whilst it is marketed as a full screen panel, there are still noticeable bezels on here. It's got an overall screen to body ratio of about 76% though, so it's actually still pretty good for a budget phone. Something that really caught my eye from this phone's specification sheet was the cameras, because we've got one 13-megapixel sensor here and one 2-megapixel sensor, which is used almost primarily for depth perception. Speaking of which, considering how cheap the phone is, it's one of the most fully featured cameras I've come across. We've got everything from a wide aperture mode to a motion picture mode, something close to Apple's live photos, as well as portrait mode. And the camera is another one of those areas where fans of Huawei phones will really appreciate it. There's a fair bit of color processing that goes on behind the scenes, but the photos turn out very rich and almost instantly ready to post on social media. And there's a similar story with the phone's front camera, which has some pretty intense face beautification going on. Aside from this, just in terms of the general UI of the phone, it shares a lot of DNA with its more expensive cousin, the Huawei Mate 10. But that's not a bad thing because, yes, whilst aesthetically speaking, emui is not really for everybody, in terms of functionality, it's one of the most complete skins that a company has put on top of stock Android, offering things like a smart split screen mode, smart sharing between Huawei devices, which is like super fast file transfer that requires no Wi-Fi connection. And probably my favorite is automatic full screen. Any application that doesn't automatically support the tall 18:9 aspect ratio of the phone can be made compatible in just one tap. Alright, so under the hood, the phone is packing the Kirin 659. Not a high-end chip, but definitely not a low-end one either. It scores just under 90,000 points on Antutu, which makes it very comparable to its competing Snapdragon 630. And the performance speaks for itself. UI operation is very fluid, and applications load almost instantly before your eyes. Just to really push the P Smart to the limit, I also tried some 3D gaming, but it really didn't seem to matter what game I threw at this phone. It seems like it can handle just about all of them at the max frame rate at 1080p resolution. Now, this SoC is also combined with 32 gigs of onboard storage, unfortunately 10 of which is already taken when you take the phone out the box, so an SD card is recommended, but it's also at the same time nice that you've got that option. The body of the smartphone is made almost entirely out of aluminium, a material that allows the phone to be extremely slim and light, but at the same time very sturdy. The body has no creaking whatsoever when you apply pressure. I do think the aluminium on the back of the phone doesn't make it feel quite as premium as perhaps more expensive glass smartphones. But it's nice, it's pleasant. The phone has chrome accents running around the top and the bottom, and they definitely add a much needed splash of flair. And as promised, the fingerprint scanner really is a treat. It's very fast, I'd say somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2 seconds. And the battery too, at 3000 mAh, can comfortably push you through a day of usage. Alright, so that is the Huawei P Smart. I'm planning to do something a little bit more in depth on this phone, maybe some sort of comparison down the line, so let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see. Thanks a lot for watching, my name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.